Confidence is often misunderstood as a prerequisite for action, when in truth it is most often the result of it. Many people spend years waiting to feel ready, believing their certainty must arrive before they step into something new. Yet, the most transformative moments in life rarely announce themselves with comfort or clarity. Instead, they invite us forward while our hands are still trembling and our thoughts are crowded with questions. Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Stevens Oak, your host, broadcast journalist, author, minister, and midlife powerhouse of inspiration. With faith in God and unstoppable drive, I am here to inspire and guide you into finding your God-given purpose so you can experience the joy of knowing you are aligned with God and live the life you will love in victory. Rebuilding confidence begins the moment we recognize that doubt is not a disqualifier. It is often the doorway to growth. I want to ask you two powerful questions. 1. Are you waiting to feel confident before you act instead of allowing action to create confidence? 2. What leap is your spirit urging you to take in this season? There is a quiet battle that takes place within every person standing on the edge of change. One voice whispers about possibility, urging you toward expansion, purpose, and a life that reflects who you are becoming. The other rehearses your past mistakes, magnifies your fears, and insists that staying where you are is safer than risking disappointment. But safety has never built extraordinary lives or extraordinary people. At some point, you must decide which voice deserves your obedience. Moving in confidence does not mean silencing doubt completely. It means refusing to let doubt have the final word. What many fail to realize is that confidence is strengthened through evidence. Each time you act despite uncertainty, you send a powerful message to yourself. I am capable. Courage compounds. The small decision to try becomes the foundation for greater risk, broader vision, and deeper self-trust. Over time, you begin to understand that confidence is less about personality and more about practice. It is not reserved for the fearless. It is cultivated by those willing to move forward while fear is still present. Confidence grows when you shift your focus from proving yourself to improving yourself. Let's get started. If you have ever felt stuck between who you used to be and who you are becoming, if fear has ever whispered that it might be too late, or if self-doubt has tried to convince you that you are not ready, this episode is especially for you. Hi, welcome to Direction at Midlife, the podcast where I help you find clarity, confidence, courage, and purpose to create the life you truly want in this season. I'm Dr. Stevens O. I pray this episode, Rebuilding Confidence, Why Confidence Comes After the Leap, Not Before, blesses you. Today, we are talking about rebuilding confidence and understanding one life-changing truth. Confidence does not come before the leap. It comes because of the leap. Too many women are waiting to feel ready before they move forward. But readiness is not a feeling, it is a decision. Confidence is built in motion, not in hesitation. You do not wait until you believe. You move and belief catches up with you. I want to tell you about some powerful women who had to choose confidence in order to become. Michelle Obama, our first Black First Lady in the White House. Oprah Winfrey, to become the talk show host at her time. Susie King Taylor, nurse, author, born into slavery. And Lillian Parker Thomas, journalist, the first African American to write a regular column. Long before the world called them trailblazers, they were simply women standing at the edge of uncertainty, choosing courage over comfort. Confidence is rarely born in ease. It is forged in the tension between fear and purpose. Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Susie King Taylor, and Lillian Parker Thomas each stepped into spaces that were not designed with them in mind. Yet they walked forward anyway. Not because they were without doubt, but because something inside them burned brighter than the voices telling them to stay small. When Michelle Obama entered the White House in 2009, she became the first African American First Lady, stepping into a role layered with both history and scrutiny. She faced intense public pressure and constant examination, later describing the experience as living under a white-hot glare. Still, she carried herself with intelligence, grace, and authenticity, proving that confidence is not about escaping criticism. It is about remaining anchored in who you are despite it. Her presence alone reshaped what leadership, representation, and strength could look like for generations watching. Oprah Winfrey's rise tells a similar story of audacious belief. After overcoming poverty and hardship in her early life, her natural ability to connect with people propelled her from news reporting into talk shows, eventually leading to national fame as host of the Oprah Winfrey Show, which aired for 25 seasons. She became the first African American nationally syndicated television host and later a self-made billionaire, using her influence to uplift others through philanthropy and education. Oprah did not wait for permission to belong. She built her own table and invited the world to sit down. Decades earlier, Susie King Taylor demonstrated a quieter but equally profound bravery. Born into slavery, she became the first Black Army nurse during the Civil War. She later documented her experiences, becoming the only Black woman to publish a memoir of those wartime realities. Imagine the courage it required not only to serve on the battlefield, but to preserve the truth of it in writing. Her confidence was not loud, it was steadfast, a reminder that resilience often looks like simply refusing to disappear. Then there was Lillian Parker Thomas, a journalist who understood the power of the written word to challenge injustice. Writing for Black-owned newspapers, she used her voice to advocate for civil rights and expose iniquities at a time when doing so required extraordinary bravery. Confidence for her meant pressing forward to publish when silence would have been safer. It meant believing that truth, once spoken, could bend the arc of history. What binds these women together is not fame or title. It is the decision to move forward before feeling fully ready. Confidence did not arrive first. It followed their leap. Each step they took expanded what was possible, not only for themselves, but for every woman who would one day wonder, do I belong here? Their lives answer with a resounding yes. Let their stories remind you that confidence is not reserved for the fearless. It is given to those willing to act while their hands still tremble. Somewhere inside you lives the same spark that carried them through resistance and into legacy. When you choose to trust, you are not merely stepping into your future, you are quietly making your own history. I want you to pause and sit with these questions for a moment, because clarity often begins with courageous honesty. My first question is, how much longer will you allow self-doubt to delay the life you deserve? Number 2, what great idea would you attempt if fear were no longer leading your decision? Let me tell you why confidence comes after the leap. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build. Every woman you admire once stood exactly where you may be standing now, uncertain, uncomfortable, and questioning whether she had what it takes. But she moved anyway. Confidence grows each time you prove to yourself that you can survive the unfamiliar. Scripture reminds us in 2 Timothy 1:7, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Fear is not your inheritance. Power is. I want to give you 7 actionable steps to help rebuild your confidence. But before I do, I want to tell you about my new book titled Beauty of the Black Swan. It's poetic. Beauty of the Black Swan is a soulful work of art that embodies love, perfection, grace, and the divine essence of a marvelous woman. This poetic collection is more than just words on a page. It is a reflection of the journey Black women take from pain to power, from silence to self-expression, and from survival to sacred wholeness. You can find it on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Please support this literary art. Now let's get those journals out. It's note-taking time. Here are those 7 actionable steps. Step 1. Take one brave step, even if it's small. Confidence is built through evidence. Every small win tells your brain, I can do this. Confidence is not a personality trait reserved for a select few. It is the natural outcome of consistent action. Each time you follow through, overcome a challenge, or stretch beyond your comfort zone, you create proof that you are capable. Over time, those small victories silence the inner critic and replace hesitation with belief. Step 2. Stop negotiating with fear. I'm going to say that one again. Stop negotiating with fear. Fear will always present arguments for staying comfortable. Stop holding meetings with it. Fear is persuasive, often disguising itself as logic while quietly steering you away from growth and your goals. If you entertain every fearful thought, you will remain stuck analyzing instead of advancing. Confidence strengthens when you acknowledge fear but refuse to negotiate with it, choosing movement over mental paralysis. Do not stay stuck. Fight that fear. Step 3. Rewrite the story you tell yourself. Replace what if I fail with what if this works. The questions you ask yourself shape the direction of your life. When you shift your mindset towards possibility, you create space for hope, creativity, and bold decision making. Confidence begins to rise the moment you allow yourself to imagine success instead of rehearsing defeat. In some of my episodes, I said you got to see it before you see the manifestation. Speak to yourself. Speak into the atmosphere. Create the environment that you are believing for. Step 4. Keep promises to yourself. That is so important. Keep promises to yourself. Self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Do what you said you would do, even in the small things. Keeping promises to yourself builds an inner reliability that no external validation can replace. When your actions align with your intentions, you develop a quiet certainty that you can depend on yourself. I'm going to say that again. When your actions align with your intentions, you develop a quiet certainty that you can depend on yourself. That self-trust becomes the anchor that steadies you when challenges arise. Step 5. Detach from perfection. Perfection is often procrastination in disguise. You have to detach from being perfect, wanting to be perfect. And I can understand because I'm a perfectionist. I would love for everything to be perfect. Progress builds confidence. Perfection delays it. Waiting for everything to be flawless keeps dreams trapped in the planning stage. Growth happens through imperfect actions, where lessons are learned and resilience is formed. The more you focus on progress rather than perfection, the faster confidence takes root. Step 6. Surround yourself with expanders. Get in rooms, physically or virtually, where growth is normal and courage is contagious. Your environment has the power to either stretch your vision or shrink it. Surrounding yourself with people who pursue growth challenges you to rise higher than you would alone. In those spaces, confidence becomes less intimidating because you see bravery modeled in real time. Step 7. Celebrate movement, not just milestones. Honor your courage. Confidence grows when you acknowledge how far you have come. Too often, we rush toward the next goal without pausing to recognize our transformation. Reflecting on your journey reminds you that you have already overcome obstacles you once thought impossible. When you honor courage, you reinforce the belief that you are more prepared and more powerful than you realize. Let me say this. 5 powerful internal shifts happen when you move in confidence. 1. Your identity begins to upgrade. You stop seeing yourself as someone who wishes and start seeing yourself as someone who does. The second shift that happens, fear loses its authority. It may still speak, but it no longer leads. The third shift, your decision-making strengthens. You spend less time overthinking and more time executing. The fourth step, resilience expands. Setbacks stop feeling like stop signs and start feeling like tragedy lesson. This is the fifth shift that happens. You trust God and yourself more deeply. You realize that every step forward was supported by grace. You are never leaping alone. I want to strongly remind you of these few facts. You do not need more credentials. You do not need universal approval. You do not need guarantees. You have all the courage you need because the version of you that you are praying for is waiting on the other side of your next brave decision. Confidence is not the prerequisite. It is the reward. If you have been waiting for a sign, this is it. Leap while your knees are shaking. Move while your voice trembles. Start before you feel ready. One day, you will look back and realize that the moment you decided to move forward was the moment your life began to expand. You are in the season where life is not a winding down, it is rising. And your next chapter does not require permission, only participation. It is never too late to rebuild, rediscover, and boldly walk in the direction of your purpose. If today's episode spoke to you, I want you to do this for me. Share this episode with a woman you know who needs to build confidence. Subscribe to Direction at Midlife and leave a review. Your voice helps this message reach women who are still searching for direction. Listen, if you are ready to take the next step toward clarity, healing, and confidence, connect with me at FORUS, FORUS, at directionatmidlife.us. Also, please join the Facebook group, a community of women discovering their passions and purpose in midlife. Please make sure you follow me at Direction at Midlife on Apple Podcasts so you never miss an episode. And if you need a community to belong to and that understands where you are, please join the Facebook group, a community of women discovering their passions and purpose in midlife. We are walking this journey together. Ladies, please share this podcast show with another sister who needs encouragement. And remember, I would love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in our Facebook group and don't forget to leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Come back next week for more faith, fire, and feminine power right here on Direction at Midlife, where every woman discovers her voice, her purpose, and her power. On the next episode of Direction at Midlife, I will be talking about how to follow your passion while managing your inner compass. A must-listen-to podcast show you don't want to miss. Hey girl, hey! Thank you for listening to Direction at Midlife. This is your reminder. Your dreams are waiting and now is the perfect time to chase them. Believe in your power, embrace the possibilities, and step boldly into your next chapter. If this show has blessed you, show me love. Please leave me a written review on Apple Podcasts and follow me. Take a screenshot and post it on your Instagram. Shout me out on your Facebook and share it with your friends. Please tag me at Direction at Midlife and I will share your review, and together we can uplift and inspire each other. Remember, I'm Dr. Stevens O. Your journey is yours to own, and I'll be here cheering you on every step of the way.